channel because I do believe that most of us from birth have been programmed to stay poor. So in this video, I'm talking about the three main ways of how we are being programmed in today's society for scarcity and how we are being programmed every single day for lack. And then at the end, I'm going to give you some tactics of what has worked for me in order to reprogram my mind, and maybe it's helpful also for you. So let's get into it. Number one, we are programmed at school to be workers. Unfortunately, a lot of the ways that we are programmed to be poor, or at least programmed to stay in a certain economic class, comes down to the modern education system. I am just going to focus on how this relates to your own finances. In most countries in the world, the national schooling system is built of very similar foundations. Most people don't realize that the way that we go to school today is based off a few changes that happened in Germany 200 years ago. When we started automating tasks and producing products during the Industrial Revolution, the world needed people that would man these machines and factories that were popping up all over the globe. But they didn't just need people. They needed people that would follow orders, that were agreeable, that would be told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, and just execute those tasks in the factories. And at that time, formal education was reserved only for the super rich. But someone in Prussia, which is the modern day Germany, had the fantastic idea of setting up what is called factory schools. Education was provided by the government for free, and all children could learn in a regimented and controlled way with the intention of producing as many drones as possible in order to man the machines during the Industrial Revolution. Now, if you've never heard of this concept and you just think I'm some crazy lunatic YouTube lady, let me turn you to an expert. I'm going to read you a quote from the Northwestern University economist Joel Merker, who talks about factory schools. Much of this education, however, was not technical in nature, but social and moral. Workers who had always spent their days working in domestic settings had to be taught to follow orders, to respect the space and property rights of others, be punctual, docile, and sober. The early industrial capitalists spent a great deal of effort and time in the social conditioning of their labor force, especially in Sunday schools, which were designed to inculcate middle-class values and attitudes so as to make the workers more susceptible to the incentives that the factory needed. So yes, the government did provide free education, but the desired outcome of that was just to create these drones that would say, yes sir, no sir, turn up on time, fulfill the orders, and just man these machines. It wasn't giving education to educate, it was giving education to these meat machines that would in turn run these metal machines. The process of state-sponsored schooling to turn people into factory workers was quickly rolled out by the rich industrialists across North America and Europe. And once the United States adopted this, soon the rest of the world followed. The system didn't want free thinkers or financially rich people. The education system wanted to program these people to do nothing more than fill the mundane jobs in society. This is why they were never taught to critically think, to provide value for society, to manage their finances. They were taught to follow orders and fit into a box. And unfortunately, this is the exact same schooling system that we still have today. During the most formative years of your life, if you go to any traditional school, you are educated or programmed in a very specific way. At schools today, there is no focus on critical thinking. In most schools in the developing world, there is no education pushing children into entrepreneurship or creating products or services when they leave school. And almost without fail, the education system